Welcome back. It's Zane here with you, and thank you for joining me today. In this video, I want to talk about an insight that I gained during the week, which has really solidified my conviction for decentralized finance, and in particular, the value of Bitcoin as a monetary savings and investment technology. Now, my wife and I, we bought a house in October 2022, an investment property. It was $1.5 million. And the other day I sat down and I actually priced that home in Bitcoin. And what's fascinating is I was kind of triggered by a report that I saw about 2 weeks ago on Twitter. And then I dug a little bit further deep into it, and I did some research, and I realized that people are starting to now price real estate in terms of Bitcoin. And this is fascinating to me because there's a lot of people in this country who are now priced out of the housing market. I know that's the same in America and Canada and other places, but in Australia, there's definitely a big problem with housing. There shouldn't be, but there is. The government's blaming it on immigration, and the cost of living crisis and interest rates and all of those kinds of things. But what nobody's talking about apart from that is the way that they're able to, we're on a debt-based system, and they're able to just continue to increase liquidity pretty much at the flick of a switch. So the currency that we're earning and that people are borrowing is actually not backed by anything. It's just digits on a screen. As soon as somebody takes a mortgage out, that is just issued as new debt, new liquidity into the system. And every time that happens, it actually debases the value of the currency in circulation, which basically means that the price of everything goes up, including real estate. And so that property at the time, $1.5 million home, is today valued at around about $2 million. Now, that in itself is crazy to think that in the space of 2 years, it's gone up by, 30-odd% in just that period of time. But that's the world that we're living in right now, because we're in an environment where, even though interest rates are going up, the liquidity and the debasement of the currency is continually being eroded, which basically means the illusion is that real estate prices are going up, but in reality it's just that the value of the currency that we use to buy real estate is actually falling through the floor. Now, this is highlighted when you start to price real estate in terms of Bitcoin. That home 2 years ago, October 2022, if I was using Bitcoin to purchase it, it would have cost me 60 Bitcoin. Bitcoin at the time was valued at around about $30,000. Sorry, 50 Bitcoin. Bitcoin at the time was valued at $30,000 times 50. That's $1.5 million. Today, Bitcoin is valued at 95,000 Australian dollars, which is around 63,000 US dollars. And so the value of that home at today's valuation of 2 million sits at that home at 20 to 21 Bitcoin. So the value of that home in 2022, 50 Bitcoin, today, 21 Bitcoin. So even though the value of that property, the illusion is the value of the property has gone up by around 30% in Australian dollar terms, from 1.5 to 2 million, in Bitcoin terms, the value of that property has actually significantly dropped. It's gone from 50 Bitcoin to 21 Bitcoin in the space of 2 years. The moral of the story is that the more you study Bitcoin, the more you realize is that it is the antithesis of a debt-based system. It is the most indestructible source of value preservation. And whether it is protecting your savings, your purchasing power, or it is long-term investing, you need to be doing your research and educating yourself about Bitcoin. And I started on this educational journey in 2018, started investing in Bitcoin in 2019, but I was only dabbling in it at the time. And by the time 2020 came around and we had all these draconian, measures that were thrust upon us by the government, and the health crisis and everything that went along with that. And we started to see, even though there was no production, people weren't going to work, businesses were shut down. We saw all of a sudden, after a short sort of dip, real estate and stocks and crypto and everything started to skyrocket. It really got me thinking, I need to learn more about money. This thing that you and I exchange our output and our energy and our labor and our intellectual knowledge for, this thing that we trade that for, this currency, most people don't realize is that it is being inflated away. It's being debased into oblivion, such that if you don't own assets, you're basically going to be on the losing team, because there's no way you're going to be able to keep up with inflation moving forward. So anyway, I wanted to just share that insight today. I just can't stop thinking about it. Had I have put that money into Bitcoin at the time rather than into that home, right now, sitting here today, the value of that in Australian dollars would be sitting at $4.75 million. And instead it's sitting in a piece of real estate valued at $2 million. Now, I know you can say, yes, but you can't rent it out, you can't generate an income. That's a whole other conversation that we can get to, but I also wouldn't be paying any land tax, I wouldn't be paying any rates on it, any maintenance, any property management fees, everything, like that as well. So just keep that in mind. The more I dig into this, the more I develop a conviction that, people who are concerned about the future, concerned about protecting their purchasing power, their financial security, their financial freedom, their assets, protecting their assets. Bitcoin cannot be confiscated. It cannot be corrupted. It's the strongest monetary network in the world, and the longer it goes on, the more strong the network becomes, and the more decentralized it becomes. And I believe that with everything happening in the world geopolitically, we now are moving to a phase where we need to be thinking outside the box. We need to be thinking in ways that we can move ourselves outside the system as much as we possibly can, and start thinking in terms of being a sovereign individual. And for me, Bitcoin plays a big part in that. I listen to a lot of interviews, a lot of podcasts, I read a lot of books, and I'm diving constantly down the rabbit hole to further my knowledge in this area, because I really believe that it's the future. It's what I'm teaching my kids. I've got 3 daughters in their 20s, and I want to set them up in the best possible way in this changing world that we're in right now. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you for listening. If you like this video, you got value from it, please give it a like, and by all means subscribe. I want to build this community. I want to share my thoughts as often as possible on this channel, and grow a community here. And this is something I'm really passionate about, really interested in, and I just will continue to share my thoughts, knowledge, insights for what it's worth, and I hope you get some value from it. Again, thanks for listening. This is Zane signing out. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.